Hello everybody. This is a maths presentation for parents giving some top tips for maths in lower key stage 2. In this video we're going to look at how you can support your child with addition and go through some of the addition strategies that we use in Year 3 and in Year 4. In Year 3 and 4, children work with 3 and 4 digit numbers. Year 3 work with 3-digit numbers up to 1,000. Year 4 work with 4-digit numbers up to 10,000. We use a range of manipulatives to help us understand the maths. We use base 10 blocks. Here you can see thousands, hundreds, tens and ones. And we also use place value counters to represent the thousands, hundreds, tens and ones. And we use number lines. These all help us to visualise our numbers and to understand the value of each digit. In this video, we will be looking over some of the methods we teach which allow children to add using 3 and 4-digit numbers. We're looking at addition. These are some of the words that we will discuss when we're talking about addition. Add, sum, addition, plus, altogether, and total. First of all, we're going to have a look at adding a 2-digit number and some ones. Here we have the number 25 and we're going to add 7. 25 plus 7. First of all, I recognise that those 5 ones from 7 can combine with the 5 ones in 25 to make a 10. So now I can say that it's 30 plus 2. Total is 32. 25 plus 7 equals 32. We then move on to adding a 3-digit number and some ones. This time our numbers have been represented in a place value chart. We have the number 345 and we're going to add on 7 ones. This time I can see that there are more than 9 ones in the ones column. I can combine some of them together to make 10, and I can exchange 10 ones for a 10. That leaves me 2 in the ones column, 5 in the tens column, and 3 in the hundreds column. 352. Let's have a look at this one. 418 plus 7. This time we're going to look at it on a number line. Here we would like children to be able to recognise that 7 can be partitioned into 2 and 5. And the reason we've partitioned it into 2 and 5 is that 2 is a number bond with 18 to make 20. It takes us to the next multiple of 10. That means then we've just got 5 more to add on, which is much easier for children to see, gets us to 425. So we had a look at 418 and we recognised we needed 2 to get us to the next multiple of 10. That left us 5 from the 7 to get us to 425. Okay, next we'd move on to adding a 3-digit number and some tens. Here we have 148 and we're adding on 43. Now, as children begin to get more confident with their number lines and using the base 10 equipment, we begin to move them on to using a column method. So here I've represented 148 plus 43 as a column addition. I'm going to start, as always with a column addition, looking at the ones column. And I can see that I've got 8 ones plus 3 ones. 8 ones plus 3 ones means that I have more than 9 in my ones column. So I'm going to exchange 10 of them for a 10. I need to represent this in my column addition now by showing that there is one 1 left in the ones column, and the 10 that I've exchanged I've placed underneath the column addition in the tens column to represent my exchange of 1 10. Now I can add up my tens and I can see that I've got 8 tens plus a 1 10 for my exchange, which gives me 9 tens. And then I can add on my hundreds. 191. Then we'd be able to move on to looking at something similar. This time the exchange takes place in the tens column. So I've got 5 ones and 1. That gives me 6 ones. There's no exchange needed. But when I look at the tens column, I can see I have too many tens for the tens column. So I can exchange 10 of those tens for 100. I represent the 100 that I've exchanged into my hundreds column underneath the hundreds. Now I have 2 tens left in the tens column, and in my hundreds column I have 2 plus my 100 there, 300. 326. Let's have a look at this one. 255 plus 78. This time there's going to be 2 exchanges. There'll be an exchange in the ones column and in the tens column. 5 plus 8 gives me 13. So I'm going to exchange 10 of those ones for a 10 and represent that by putting the 110 in my tens column and the 3 remaining ones in my ones column. Now I need to look at the tens column. I have 7 plus 5 plus 110, which gives me 13 tens. I can't have all 13 tens in that tens column, so I'm going to exchange 10 of those tens for 100. And I'm going to place that 100 in the hundreds column, and I'll represent that on my column addition using a 1 in my hundreds column. I now have 3 tens in the tens column, and in the hundreds column, 200 plus 100 gives me 300. 255 plus 178 is 333. We'd give children lots and lots of practice with all of the steps leading up to this, so that they get really confident with adding 3-digit numbers using exchange in year 3. We'd also show them similar representations using a number line. In this one, I'm adding 57, so I can add my 50, I can add my 6 to get me to the next 10, and I can add 1. 234 plus 57 is 291. This time I'm going to add 168 and 29. I begin my number line at 168. I'm going to make a jump of 20 for the part of 29. That takes me to 188. And then I'm going to add 9, but this time I'm going to partition my 9 into 2 because that takes me to the next multiple of 10, and 7. It's much easier then to see 190 plus 7 is 197. 168 plus 29 equals 197. I could look at it a different way. I could have added 2 ones to begin with to take me to 170, the next multiple of 10. I then could have added the 7 remaining from the 9 ones, which would have taken me to 177, and then I could have added my 2 tens, my 20, to get me to 197. We show children different ways to calculate using their number line so that they can choose which is the most efficient method for them. We'll then be able to move on to adding 2 3-digit numbers together. So this is similar to the representations we looked at earlier. 365 plus 238. So I will represent 365 in my place value chart, and I'll represent 238 in my place value chart. I need to begin by adding the ones. 5 ones plus 8 ones is 13 ones. Can't have 13 ones in my ones column, so I can exchange 10 of them for a 10. And I represent this in my column addition by showing that one that I've exchanged there in the tens, and now there are 3 ones left in the ones column. If I have a look at my tens column now, I have 6 tens, 3 tens and 1 10, which gives me 10 tens. I can't have all 10 tens in that tens column, so I'm going to exchange all 10 tens for 100. And I'm going to represent this by placing my 100 underneath the hundreds column. That means now I have no tens left in my tens column. The final step will be to add my hundreds. I have 300 and 200 and my 100 from my earlier exchange. This gives me 6 100s. 238 plus 365 equals 603. Once children are confident with adding two three-digit numbers, they move on to adding 2 four-digit numbers in Year 4. Year 4 children will practice lots of the things that they learnt in Year 3 before they go back on to adding using column addition, but this time with 4 digits. And we'll in Year 4 look at these kind of additions using word problems. For example, Dexter scores 1,351 points in a game. Rosie scores 2,263 points. How many points do they score altogether? So in this one, it's asking me to add together 2,263 and 1,351. I've represented it as a column addition, and I've also represented it using a place value chart and place value counters. So you can see in the top of the place value chart 2,263 and underneath 1,351. Like previously, we start with the ones column and we total the ones. 3 ones and 1 1 gives us a total of 4 ones. We then move to the tens column. 6 tens plus 5 tens is 11 tens, 110. I can't have all 11 tens in that column, so I'm going to exchange 10 of them for 100. And I'm going to represent this 100 by placing it underneath the hundreds column. That means now I have 110 left, and I now can move to the hundreds column. 200 plus 300 plus a 100 from my exchange gives me 600. I can then go to the thousands column. 2,000 plus 1,000 gives me a total of 3,000. Dexter and Rosie together score 3,614 points. Thank you for your time in this video. Please feel free to go back and watch any of the parts if you need a little bit more practice or consolidation of your understanding. We'd really appreciate it if you could please take a few minutes to complete our feedback form. You will find a link to it below in the description of this video. Thank you very much for your time.